Homicides in El Salvador are down a staggering 98% since 2015. A noteworthy feat for a small country once plagued by gangs and dubbed the murder capital of the world. The Central American country closed out 2024 with its lowest murder rate on record. El Salvador's president touting the nation as the safest in the entire Western Hemisphere. His tactics to get there have been praised from within the country, but some human rights groups have been critical of the crime crackdown. In 2024, there were 114 homicides recorded in El Salvador, continuing the trend of a dramatic drop in murders after recording 214 homicides in 2023. But just a few years prior, in 2015, the country saw 6,656 people murdered, making it one of the world's deadliest countries. But the murder rate 9 years later, down more than 98%, makes it one of the safest by homicide rate. El Salvador's Congress had granted President Nayib Bukele's request to issue a state of emergency back in 2022 after street gangs killed 62 people within a matter of hours. Gang initiations there often involve killing at least one citizen. That state of emergency granted Bukele special powers to use the military to enforce safety laws and allowed for police to detain any suspect for up to 2 weeks without official charges being brought. The emergency order has been renewed every month since by El Salvador's Congress, Bukele's Conservative Party having the supermajority. Since the emergency order was enacted, more than 83,000 people have been arrested in an unprecedented crackdown. Some advocacy groups say prison conditions violate human rights. 261 people have died in prisons in the past 2.5 years. CNN was allowed exclusive access into El Salvador's fortress prison that opened in 2023. It houses up to 40,000 inmates, all of whom have killed at least one person.
Suddenly, you're hit with the intense gaze of dozens locking onto you. These men described as the worst of the worst, tattooed with reminders of El Salvador's dark past. It's tense and uncomfortable. But here, officials say comfort isn't meant to exist.
Human Rights Watch points to prison conditions and suspended constitutional rights to a speedy or fair trial under the emergency order as violations. Another human rights group based in El Salvador says 35,000 people have been detained without justification since the emergency order. The government says 8,000 people have been released due to lack of evidence. However, Salvadorans praised the president's mass crime crackdown, so much so last year residents voted Bukele in for an unprecedented second 5-year term. In El Salvador, the country doesn't allow anyone to run for a consecutive term as president, but the country's Supreme Court granted an exception, and Bukele's win was overwhelming, winning 83% of the popular vote. While critics of the hardline approach to Bukele's government say residents have traded in their freedoms for security, CNN reported the residents they interviewed say they have never felt so free. Thanks for watching our news update. For more stories that matter to you, check out the Straight Arrow News mobile app or visit us online at san.com. For Straight Arrow News, I'm Kara Rucker.